Welcome in 98.5, the Sports Hub of Joe Murray. Got a full hour before Game 5, potentially a closeout game for the Celtics as we take you up until 8 o'clock. Tip-off just sometime after 8:30 tonight. Of course, the game right here on the Sports Hub. If you're driving in, what a beautiful day. I was at the Garden this morning. I was there. I was walking around. Beautiful day. There were pop-ups everywhere. I know Jaylen Brown did his 741 today. But the atmosphere outside the Garden early was wildin'. And it's going to be a great night in Boston tonight. Hopefully the Celtics can close things out, and we'll have you covered until midnight tonight right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. If you want to call in, the phone number is 617-779-0985. You can follow me on Twitter at Joey Murr if you want. We're on YouTube as well. I already see people in there tonight, and that's where we will start. Celtics-Magic. Green lead the series 3-1. How have the Celtics performed in closeout games? I got the numbers for you. And I get some numbers regarding the Magic. But quickly, I just wanted to recap yesterday what I mentioned about the Celtics. I want to validate the Celtics for being able to change the way that they play. They're not shooting threes, at least to the degree that they did during the regular season. They have two of the best isolation players in the league, and that's what won them the game on the road, which when they were the best road team in the NBA. I also want to validate Orlando for being very good at guarding the perimeter and taking the ball out of some scorers' hands, like Peyton Pritchard. But down the stretch, it was Jason Tatum who closed the door. In the third quarter, it was Jaylen Brown who took over the game. And down the stretch, with 4 minutes to go, it was Jason Tatum that outscored the Orlando Magic. So I want to validate all those things. Because tonight, the Celtics should take care of business. They should. Momentum's on their side, and let me give you some numbers. The Magic are 0-7 all-time when they trail a series 3-1. They've also lost 4 consecutive elimination games. They're 0-8 all-time on the road in a Game 5 of a best-of-7 series. All those things against the Magic tonight favor the Celtics. Now, wrapping up a first-round series quickly is the best possible scenario for the Celtics. They need extra time to rest. They need extra time for Drew Holiday and the injuries that both Brown and Tatum have and others. And the Eastern Conference semifinals await. Right now, it looks like New York could eliminate Detroit tonight. We'll see if that can get extended. I don't see the Magic quitting easily tonight, though. The Magic in a 3-1 hole now. They need to win 3 straight games. 2 of those have to be in Boston to advance to the semifinals. I just don't see it happening. I'm not saying the series is over, but tonight, I think the Celtics should make that statement that it's over. The Celtics excelled at ending series quickly last year in the playoffs. None of their 4 series went past 5 games. None of them. Can they continue to do that this year? And I'll say this. All the talk about easy path, whatever, they played the games that were in front of them. Personally, I would rather the Celtics face a team like the Magic in the first round than what we just saw Cleveland do to the Miami Heat. Oh, by the way, tap out. That's what happened for the Miami Heat, who once again did that last year too. Tapped out against Cleveland. That happened. So Cleveland had an easy path through the first round. But I mentioned this. Celtics excelled at ending series quickly last year. How about over the last 3 seasons? Celtics have played 6 closeout games at home. They went 4-2 in those matchups. And in those matchups, they were a plus 70. They were almost 12 points per game better than its opponent. And every single Boston win was by at least 15 points in a closeout game. So where does that bring us to tonight? The betting line's 11 points. I mentioned 11.7 is what they are better than their opponent in those games. So it's right on the number. But there's one guy I look at in these closeout games, and it's Jason Tatum. I'll remind you in case you forgot, for the people that say he's not clutch or doesn't play in big-time games. And do I have to remind you that he's had 30-point games in back-to-back games on the road after even missing a game in the series? Those things happened. But these are Jason Tatum's numbers in closeout games. 24.6 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game, 5.3 assists in 23 games. He's had 23 closeouts in his career. And, you know, I'll even go back to the Milwaukee series. He had 22 and 20 in that first series against Milwaukee. Against Philadelphia, 25, as we know. Against Cleveland, 24. Years ago against the Pacers, he had 18. Against Philly, 28. Against Toronto, 29. Brooklyn in that final game where he hit the game-winning shot, 29. Milwaukee in 2022, 23. Miami in a closeout game, he had 26, 10, and 6. Against Atlanta in a closeout game, 30, 14, and 7. That Philadelphia game that we all talk about in 2023, 51 points. He had 16 and 12 against Miami last year. Against Cleveland, 25, 10, and 9, almost a triple-double. Against the Pacers, 26, 13, and 8. And against Dallas in a championship game, 31, 8, and 11. Those are the facts. Those are the numbers. Those are the closeout numbers. In closeout games for Jason Tatum, he's a top performer. He's had 37, 35 plus in back-to-back games. I expect a huge night tonight from Jason Tatum. Now, the Celtics have faced Orlando 3 times at home this year, resulting in 3 Celtics wins of 9, 17, and 25. The momentum now favors the Celtics. They've played 8 postseason series in the Joe Mazzulla era. This Magic series is the 4th in which they were held under 40 three-pointers a game, 3-point attempts, in 3 consecutive games by opponent. No opponent has ever held the Celtics below 40 three-point attempts in 4 consecutive games. Does that change tonight? And if it does, the Celtics will absolutely blow them out. I also think Orlando's defeated. I was going to say deflated. Defeated. I'm expecting a flat performance from the Magic tonight. I think the Celtics wrap things up at home. I think Peyton Pritchard gets going. You probably see Sam Hauser knock down a couple of threes. But it's never happened in the Joe Mazzulla era. I think the 3-ball gets going tonight. Celtics roll, cover, go over the total, and Jason Tatum has a huge night. There is another guy I think that can have a big night tonight, and he talked about it. It was a quote. I'll tell you who that is coming up here on the other side, but your thoughts on the Celtics in a closeout game. 617-779-0985. I do want to tell you about another player I think could have a big night tonight. I get some betting odds for you as well. I wanted to mix in some other things as well. Teams that could come back that have trailed 3-1 in the series. Could it happen to the Celtics? It's important for the Green to win tonight. It's very important for them to win. Cleveland's resting. New York has a chance to rest. They can use the time off. If New York closes things out tonight, the series will start either Saturday or Sunday. If somehow the Pistons can continue that, the Celtics need that time. They're doing all of this without Drew Holiday. The more time for him, the better off for the Boston Celtics. 617-779-0985. That's the phone number. Game 5 tonight here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. We'll have more coming up next. We'll talk to you right after this.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe.
in gear and, I saw a ton of those different here towels and everything like that. Like, it was buzzing down there today. Maybe everyone's going to the game. I don't know. I just, the last couple of nights I've been just bringing up facts regarding the Celtics, but nobody's really, no one's biting on it. You'd rather talk about the long snapper that just got released or who they drafted. I don't know. I mean, the Celtics are going on a repeat run here. And maybe the game's late, so maybe everyone's trying to get all their stuff done early. I don't know. But just, closeout game, Celtics' best player has been one of the best, in the league at that. Maybe historically, we could probably put it up against other people. I don't know. So I am curious. Of course, Josh, our intern, shakes his head because he's a New York Knicks fan, so I'm sure he's, hoping that the series extends a little bit more here. But I mentioned just some of these numbers regarding Jason Tatum, and I should probably bring Skaz in for this one because you just sent this over to me, but I haven't seen the latest injury report. I know Drew Holiday's out tonight. I know that Jaylen Brown's listed as questionable, and just saw a photo from Zach Cox of the Herald. Looks like Jason Tatum's wrist is bandaged up tonight, Skaz. Looks a little heavier than normal. Anything to be concerned about there?
Yeah, just a little extra padding for a closeout game. It looks, similar to what he's been wearing. It does look like there's a little more, padding there, whatever you want to call it. No, I mean, Tatum's going to play tonight. Well, he looked fine. Looked good to me on Sunday, so I have no concerns about Jason Tatum tonight. You mentioned it earlier. Closeout games, he always, rises to the occasion. I don't think tonight's going to be any different.
I like when he does the wrist dance, the wrist.
Did you hear where that came from?
My man Baylor.
Yeah, Shireman.
I like that. The rookies are, rubbing off of the guys a little bit. I like that. In on that. So I can bore you with all the numbers of Jason Tatum and how great he is if you really want all that. I mean, just remember, they won the championship. Remember last year? They won the championship. They closed it out in 5 games. And he had 31 points. I bet the triple-double. That's why I'm pissed about it. But he had 31 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. In a closeout game to win the championships, guys. That's what it was. To win the championship. Oh, and then against the Pacers, 26-13-8, and then 25-10-9 against Cleveland. So, what's he going to do now? I'm interested to find out. That wrap on the wrist, though, I don't love. Don't love that one. Other one I got for you tonight. Maybe we played this yesterday, but there was a quote from Jaylen Brown that I wanted to get to in a second here. But the Magic have done a really good job of throwing a wrench into the Celtics' attack this series. They've taken away their three-pointer. They're playing physical. And the defense through 4 games is pretty good. I respect it. I really do. I mean, I think some of it's Bush League. But I think Orlando's starting to show cracks. Their three-point shooting, woof. Bad. Their defense, one-on-one, because they don't do any help defense. Have you noticed that? It's all one-on-one, no help, no double teams, none of that. Celtics will exploit that every single time they have too much talent. So the Celtics were more aggressive in their approach when it came to that because they have the talent. I even thought Kristaps Porzingis looked better inside, although he did hit a couple of threes. But Jaylen Brown, I think, has noticed some of the cracks in Orlando's game as well. He scored 21 points on 6 of 16 shooting on Sunday. This is what he said after the game. Quote, "I could be better. I will be better in my spots. I didn't feel like I was aggressive as I needed to be, but they're just forcing us to make plays one-on-one, trying to bait us into that. But if we got a great matchup, we just got to be able to make them pay. But I think we can be, and I can be even better." He's looking forward to Game 5. I like hearing that. Brown picking up his aggressiveness. could be a shot in the arm for this team that they might need. I think he did it in the third quarter. So when it comes to Jaylen Brown tonight, I got 20 points locked up. He's averaging 23 points in the first round. I don't even think he's playing that well, by the way. He averaged 22 points a game this season. In 6 matchups versus Orlando this year, he scored at least 20 points 4 times. At least 19 points 5 times. He's averaging 24.5 points per game against this team. You know what else? I brought up all the Jason Tatum numbers in a closeout game. You want Jaylen Brown's guess?
How about a quick update on Jaylen Brown?
Oh, boy.
Injury report is out. Available tonight.
Woo!
There you go.
Thank you. Because I imagine if I gave all these stats.
Whole segment would have been a waste, Joe.
Whoa.
I would have let you get to the headlines if he was
Oh, my
out.
God. Do you know what his numbers are in a closeout game? 20 or more in 4 of his last 6 home closeout games for Jaylen Brown. It's pretty good to have 2 guys average over 20 points a game in closeout game. That's pretty good, right? I will say this about Jaylen Brown's game, though. This is where I want to credit Orlando. Playmaking hasn't really, as far as assists go. He's recorded 2 or fewer assists in 3 of the 4 games. He had 1 assist in each of the 2 games in Orlando. This season, though, he improved in that area, right? He averaged almost 5 times a game. He did have 5 assists in game 2. I see that picking up tonight as well.
Yeah, and you just mentioned how the Celtics have guys that, have gone off in this situation before. And, earlier today in Slack, this from Fawzan Amir, who covers the Magic for the 6-man show down there in Orlando. Outside of Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero,
Yes.
no other Magic player has scored 17 or more points in any of the 4 playoff games. Boston has received 17 or more points from players outside of Brown and Tatum a combined 6 times, including a 30-point game from Derek White. So that's, we talk about the margins and stuff like that, but when it comes down to it, the Magic, they've done a hell of a job in this series. I just don't think they have the horses to run with the Celtics. Not yet.
You mentioned Derek White. He's been good in the first round. He's averaging 20 points across the first 4 games. He has scored 15 or more points in 54 of the 80 games this season. And when they come home, how does Derek White do? 28 of 41. He's had 15 or more at home. He's averaging over 17 points per game at home. And against Orlando, White has scored at least 15 in 5 of the 6 matchups this year. You have to expect a big night from him in a closeout game against the Magic. May I give you one more, please? This is one of my big bets tonight. Peyton Pritchard goes off tonight. The bench struggles on the road, right? Orlando, I've already told you, Orlando is so great at stopping the threes tonight, right? Not tonight. Missoula Ball Scaz is back, baby. That's my prediction. No, that's my spoiler. How about that? I think the Celtics get close, if not more than 43 point attempts tonight. It's a closeout game at home. You saw what Brown, Tatum, White can do. The Celtics have been a better road team than a home team this year. And I want to go back to something that Jason Tatum said about playing better at home. One thing is for sure. Closeout games at home, the Celtics have been very good. Very good. And I see them doing it again tonight. 617-779-0985. That's the phone number if you want to jump aboard. Let's talk to Bill. He's in Melrose. What's up, Bill? You're on the Sports Hub.
Yeah, Joe, I agree with you. I think they're going to roll tonight. And I did add Pritchard onto my parlay that I got going tonight. I just want to say, you don't have to read the stats to us. We all know how good Tatum is. I think he's getting his respect nationally. I mean, I don't know. It depends on where you look, I guess. But
I don't know, Bill. I mean, we're in the city of Boston, right? the best team going for a repeat in a closeout game at home tonight, and you think they're getting the respect locally? How about you? Could give me the national, fine. You think locally here? Do you think this radio station has let off today with the Celtics playing in a Game 5 tonight?
I don't know. I think.
I don't know. I did an hour on it last night, and people were sick of it.
Yeah. No, I'm not sick of it.
Let's talk about the draft. Let's do draft talk. Let's do it.
No. I just want to say, quickly before, did you put money on that bet last night? Did you actually take the Heat and the points?
Oh yeah, 8.5. Oh yeah. That was horrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but who could forecast that though?
Yeah. Listen, I just want to ask you really quick. I think they're going to roll through that. I don't think they're going to have any problem with the Knicks. But do you think with the conference finals and the finals, with the amount of games they've been playing the last couple of years, I think OKC and Cleveland can run them because they do run. Do you think the only issue could be their legs in the final series when they get there?
That's why they got to close it out tonight, my man.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
And I'm not even looking ahead, by the way. Like, they need to win tonight, and then let's see what happens. Like, there's no sure thing the New York Knicks win tonight, by the way. I know, Josh. I know. I should probably mention a couple other things just regarding what's going on in the league. There's a couple of things regarding teams that are trailing 3-1 in a series. So if you want to bet on the Magic, plus 5,500 if you think they come back and win 3 in a row. If you think the Bucks come back and win the series, you can bet them at plus 1,200 right now. The Pistons, plus 1,100. How about the Rockets after their loss last night? And how about that defense by Draymond Green, by the way? If the Lakers come back, plus 350.
How about Coach Ime drawing up the final play there to go at the best defender in the NBA over the last 10 to 15 years?
I thought Segun got a good look.
Yeah, that's fine, but
I wouldn't have put the ball in his hand.
Yeah, or throw something at Draymond, throw somebody at him. Yeah, that was. I think Ime might have been having some flashbacks to the Celtics Warriors series at the end of that one.
Why were they trying to get cute?
Look, Sengun was incredible. He was awesome last night. He's been incredible for the Rockets all season and especially in the playoffs. But attacking Draymond Green on the final possession is certainly a head coaching choice, and I think there would have been quite a bit of discussion if that was Ime was still here and he made that decision.
Did you hear the call that week? He goes, "Hey Joe, you don't have to give us the stats. We know this." Do you feel that? Do you feel that people do?
I think at this point, it's first round NBA. It's a foregone conclusion. The Celtics are supposed to win this game. They're supposed to be here.
But do you think that, people are saying, oh, yeah, it's a closeout game. Celtics, they got the guys for it.
I want to say yes. I mean,
oh, you do? Okay.
I do.
I don't feel that way. I feel like there's still this disrespect to the Celtics. I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't hear anybody talk about the game tonight. Again, I was at the Garden today. I was there. I was down there. I'm driving home, and you know what I heard? Long snapper talk. And who the Patriots drafted in the second round.
It was a running back.
Yeah. And I'm like, Game 5 is tonight. There's watch parties all over the Garden tonight. There's pop-ups everywhere in the city. It's different here. Towels everywhere. I'm literally like, is anybody going to mention the Celtics record in closeout games? So I'm glad we got an hour to do this tonight. But you know what, guys? We'll do it. We'll do it. I don't know if everybody else will. You're just going to have to listen to it. That's all. And it's not green teaming. It's fact. And yes, I did bet the Miami Heat plus 8.5 last night. Yeah, I'll take the L. You can't win them all. That's why I'm saying the Miami Heat. Tappa, tappa, tappa. I think Orlando does the same thing tonight. I think Orlando taps out tonight. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. There are some other notes. The Red Sox are doing some things. Oh, the long snapper talk. Maybe we'll do a little bit of that. And who will be the next Bruins coach? I had a minute and 30 seconds with Kevin Majore before the show, and we both have no idea. None. So we'll hit the headline here. I'm Joe Murray, listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headline.
And listen, I'll be careful here because I don't want to come across, but I've said this 1,000 times. I'm going to say it again. If Kira Russo and she's the same age, if she came home, Dad, can we go out to dinner with my new boyfriend? Yeah, all right, Kira, where do you want to go? Well, we got to have the early bird special. Well, what do you got to watch? The early bird special. No, we got to have the early bird. We got to go out to dinner at 5 o'clock. Really? If it means that much to you, Kira, we'll go out to dinner, we'll have a Manhattan, and we'll go out to dinner at 5 o'clock if it means that much to you. And then she comes home, she gets out of the door, and the boyfriend is 10 years older than me. I'd say, honey, what are you doing here? And here's another thing. Do you think there is any shape, way, or form that Bill would allow a coach or a player or his mentor Parcells, a coach or a player, to wear high heels running to a football practice? Can you see Bill Parcells allowing an assistant coach or a player to go to the conclusion of a practice at MetLife with his young girlfriend who's wearing heels? Are you kidding me? Bill would go crazy. We're working.
How former athletes feel about it. And, well, at least one that I know personally has said something about it. And now, how does the University of North Carolina feel about it? Skaz, I know you've been pretty critical of Bill Parcells. What are you eating back there, by the way?
Little Nature Valley bar, Joe, you know?
A Nature Valley bar.
Yeah, a little
crunchy.
Little peanut butter.
Oats
yeah.
and peanut butter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Would Bill Parcells allow someone to wear high heels at practice?
Now, look, Joe, I'm not a Bill Parcells expert. I simply state the facts on the man, that he had a 500 record and quit on the team before the Super Bowl. But I have to imagine, by all the Bill Parcells Bobos that still exist for some reason, that no, he would not have allowed this. That he ran a tight ship. That was no shenanigans. I have to imagine that he would not have allowed this to happen under his watch.
I'm sure everyone knows I'm a Taylor Swift fan. Tay-Tay.
Joey Swift.
Shout out Tay-Tay. There was a letter today written by Bill, I think.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, written by Bill. Signed by him, at least.
I think it was Bill. I don't know if it was Bill.
I will say, Joe, Bill, I didn't know he had the conductor of the hype train, in his lexicon, in his vocabulary there. I was surprised to see that. Bill put pen to paper there. So, yeah, good for him. Maybe he is expanding himself.
Well, I'm going with the Taylor Swift thing is, it was posted to Instagram. What was this actually? Let me pull it back up. Yeah, it had it was a letter posted on Instagram with the Taylor Swift song, "Look What You've Made Me Do." Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. It's the one that I think they used in the Apple documentary when Tom Brady got suspended.
Some people would call it a letter. I might call it a manifesto. But yeah, whatever you want to call it. This certainly an interesting piece of literature.
That letter's smelly. That letter is smelly.
The whole thing is smelly. The not mentioning Kraft and then talking about how his book's only about, football and his career. It's like, oh, well, the guy that was handing you your paycheck for 25 years, I think his name would have came up at least once, if we're telling the story, Bill, which you keep telling us that's all you're trying to do is tell your football story. I'm not following.
I don't know. You know what? Know what? As a fact, Bill going to college was smelly. The whole thing was smelly. Him not getting into the NFL, smelly. All of it stinks. This is starting to. I've used if Jeremy was here, I would say if it looks like a fish. Still don't know how to pay that one off yet, but if it looks like a fish and smells like a fish.
If it quacks like a duck.
Like he said. I don't know what the payoff's going to be here. But now Now I want to look into it more.
Does he coach a football game for the University of North Carolina? I said it last night. I think I said it last week, but that's what I keep coming back to. Does he ever coach a football game for that school?
I think he does because that's the only sport in college sports, it's the only sport where coaches matter more than the players. It's true. It's the only sport.
I don't know. I think I could have won with Ryan Day's roster, but
I mean, Urban Meyer with Tim Tebow, right? I mean, there's guy like, does Ohio State win? Yeah, does Ryan Day win this year? I mean, I get you. I know what you mean. Maybe it's more college basketball. I don't know. Does he coach? I would lean yes right now. Does he make it through the season?
50-50 now.
Great answers, guys. I didn't even want to talk about this. It's just when I heard Mad Dog, I was like, we got to play it. We absolutely have to play it. While we're at it, they released Matt Cardona today. Oh, not Matt. Was it? No, wait. Which Cardona is it? I'm talking about a wrestler right now, I feel like.
It would be Joe.
Joe Cardona. I know. I can't even. Matt Cardona's a wrestler. Shout out to Matt Cardona, Wrestling Figure Podcast. Joe Cardona. Thank you for everyone that's like, who the hell's Matt Cardona? Zach Ryder. Woo woo. The last remaining member of a championship team. And officially, I can say once again for the last time, Mike Vrabel is Michael Corleone. He whacked all the capos. All the head members of the 5 families are gone. You know who the longest reigning member of the Patriots is right now? Do you know who it is? Because he's next. Kyle Duggar. He's next. Telling you, that guy sucked last year. He's next. They all got whacked. By the way, who will be the next Bruins head coach? I was throwing all this in here before we get out of here. Josh says him. Mike Sullivan, Peter Laviolette, Rick Tocchet. What are the 50-50 chances on those guys? What does the 3-headed coin say?
Yeah, of the 3, I think I'd lean Tocchet just because Laviolette and, Sullivan, you kind of... Yeah, I keep going back to the retreads in the NHL. It's all they do for head coaches. But I think when you hear everything that was going on in Vancouver, it seems like it was an absolute dumpster fire from the infighting with the players. They had, guys having issues off the ice the last couple of years. The Hughes situation, it seems like what Tocchet was dealing with there was just a disaster from the front office. So I'd like to think that, you get him here with some structure and a decent roster. He could, change things around. The Sullivan thing, I know he's a good coach, local ties, same with Laviolette, but the McAvoy thing's a little, I don't know, is that too close to home? And then Laviolette just feels like, too much of the same. Just, it, doesn't do anything for me.
All right. Someone wrote, just think, 23 years ago, Bill Belichick was 50 and she was 1. By the way, percentage, Bruins have an 8.5% chance of moving up to the number 1 pick, 8.6 chance of moving up to the number 2 pick per Tankathon. And you know when we'll find that date, Skaz? We got to write this one down. Monday, May 5th. The drive for 5 is on May 5, baby. Well, I'll wrap this thing up here. I got bets for you. I know the brokerage babes in our chat. She's betting for the first time, or she's got bets tonight. I got a few more for you. We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Boston Celtics playoff coverage on 98.5 The Sports Hub is presented by Charles D. Sheehy. Charles D. Sheehy is your local leader for pipe, valves, fittings, and mechanical products. CDS is proud to partner with the area's leading healthcare, life science, and lab contractors. Partner with CDS to keep your project on schedule.
For the best deal on tires, head to Town Fair Tires.
minutes here before we hand things over to Grandy and Max. I got your bets for tonight. Each of the last 3 games in the series have been decided by 9 points or fewer. The Magic season's on the line tonight. I don't think it's going to be close. Magic have covered in 2 of the last 3 games, 5 of the last 9 overall. I'm not going to take a side on this one, but I'm going to go over 198 tonight. I think the series is now going to shift towards the Celtics. They've scored 107 or more points in 2 of their last 3 games and 6 of their last 10. I think this carries towards the over for tonight's game. The Magic have also scored 100 or more points in 6 of their last 10 games, and they've allowed 103 or more in 6 of the during that span. I'm going over tonight, and I think the Celtics get their 3-point shot going. I'm also going Jason Tatum over 30 points tonight, plus 135. And I went on a limb on this one. Peyton Pritchard to have a big night tonight. Over 15 points plus 375. There you have it. Celtics win. Over. Tatum another closeout game in Pritchard. We'll hand things off to the best in the business. Sean Grady, Cedric Maxwell, Celtics basketball game.